Hello, my name is Trevor Fall, and I've been an English teacher since 1998, so about 25 years at the time of this recording. And I'd like to share with you a couple of tips about improving your speaking. You may have seen some of my previous videos where I've talked about listing, about pronunciation, or about vocabulary, also videos on reading and writing skills. But today I want to focus on speaking. And I have a master's in TESOL, which means training ESL teachers. So I've not only been in the classroom for 25 years, but I've also been training ESL teachers to teach English to newcomers or international students for the last almost 8 years now. So with speaking, often people say, well, I have this information in my mind, but I'm not sure what I want to say, or I'm not sure I have words, phrases, but then I can't speak them. I get embarrassed. I freeze. I'm not really fluent in what I want to say. So the first thing I advise is to practice what you want to say, because there's going to be situations where, let me just pull up here. So for example, with small talk, when you first meet someone, there's going to be some common words and phrases that you're going to use and that you're going to talk about. Typically, if I meet a stranger or if I meet a friend or a family member I know at the store or the mall or at a sports event, there's usually going to be conversation about weather, news, maybe sports, family, how are your parents, how's your husband or wife, how are your children, or about recent activities. So what did you do on the weekend, or what will you do this summer? So have in mind some sentences of what you want to say in those and practice. Describe your children, talk about what they've been doing, think about recent activities you've been in. Weather is easy. You just look outside or walk outside. It's rainy, it's snowy, it's cloudy, it's sunny. Okay, but practice and know in advance what you want to say to help you with some of those initial sentences. Other common questions and answers in the grocery store. Are you paying by cash or by credit? Or would you like a bag? If you're in a clothing department, is this too big? Is this too small? Would you like another size? Would you like another color? Okay, so anticipate and understand what would be common questions that I might be asked and what would be common responses I want to give. Okay, also then for unfamiliar topics or for topics where you're in an environment that you're not usually and it's not weather and sports, that's where you want to organize your thoughts. And sometimes you may not know exactly what to say, but if you have a structure, you have an understanding, okay, I'll say this is my first sentence. I'll talk about first, I'll talk about second, I'll give an example. Then I can take any topic or information and plug it into that idea or that situation. So I'm just going to change my screen here. And I often teach and help students with IELTS or with CELPIP. And I'm using this even if you're not going to be studying IELTS or CELPIP, but the idea is similar with the structure of how an IELTS test is. So there's three parts where at the start, the first 2 or 3 minutes, they're going to ask you some personal, not deeply personal questions, but just some general questions. Do you work or study? Tell me about your apartment or place where you live. What kind of meals do you like, etc. And so those are common questions to kind of help you relax, but also for the examiner to understand how you're speaking, because if you're not doing well in this section and it gets harder, then we can already say, okay, this is probably an IELTS 5 or a 5.5 or 4.5. Then in the second section and third section, this is where organizing your thoughts is helpful because you have a specific topic, you have some ideas that you're supposed to talk about, who, what, when, where, and then how you organize. Because if you just say whatever comes to your mind, we can start to see students go off track or focus on other details that are not as important. And so what I recommend practicing these is look up at IELTS questions. Again, even if you're not answering IELTS questions for an exam, but use the IEL question lists to think of different responses and become more comfortable responding to different topics. So for example, read a sample question. So tell us about your favorite photo, who was in it, when was it taken, where were you, why is this your favorite photo? Or do you think that leaders are born or that leaders develop skills to become great leaders? So you read the sample questions, write out your answers. So that's where helping you practice in advance. So write down, take time to think and identify, okay, what would I say first? What would I say second? And then this might be a bit embarrassing, but I often encourage students, read out loud your answers and video record yourself, or look in a mirror and look at what your notes, look up. Because if I'm self-conscious or embarrassed, and it's difficult for me to look at myself, then in North American culture where we maintain eye contact and you speak with somebody by looking at them, not looking up over there or looking around, then this helps you become more comfortable seeing how other people are seeing you, and also so that you can relax as you speak. Carry a list of questions with you, and then even to go and talk to other people. And I'll talk in a minute, where do we find those other people? But have a list of general questions. I've given some links here with the part 1 where it's general interactive questions. Then I have, okay, I have that in another section, but I also have questions and information for, links for parts 2 and also for part 3. And by going through those questions and understanding and practicing what those common questions are, that will help you to be more comfortable in responding. Just going to open up the links that have. Okay. So there's a list of general questions: family, education, hometown. Those are all typically part 1 for IELTS. Weather, weddings, home. Okay, and then part 2, that's where I mentioned where they're going to ask you for about a specific topic, and questions: who, what, when, where. Okay, so I have a list of questions with that as well. And then in part 3, this is where, again, it gets a bit more difficult, more abstract, but what types of people are respected most in your society? What types of behavior should teachers set? What methods of travel are safest? So this is where, when you have a structure, because if you're at first, you're kind of confused, just remember, okay, I'll repeat the question or say something similar. I'll give 2 ideas and I'll give an example. So what type of people are respected most in your society? Well, in my society, elderly people and people that have professions like doctors or lawyers. And I think that, people who are elderly have lots of knowledge and wisdom. They've helped raise us or our people in our society. And so we respect their knowledge and the way they talk with us. Doctors, lawyers, physicians, they are respected because they're providing a skill, and they've trained and studied. They're smart people. And so our culture honors, respects them. Okay, so having those ideas with a bit of more details or information helps make it a little bit smoother. So let me just go back, and because the next question I get is, if I'm talking to different people, where do I find, sorry, let me just go back here. If I'm talking to different people, where do I find those people? So what I recommend is, if you're on the bus every day, if you're in the mall, if you're going around, it's okay to ask people questions. Some people will not respond or give you a very short answer. That's fine. Other times people will give more details or talk with you for a bit. So for example, if I'm in a grocery store, I can ask somebody, oh, can you tell me where the milk is? Usually we go to where the milk is from their explanation or description, and that's it. Well, that's only one question. We hear the instructions and we go. What I recommend is talk to 2 or 3 different people in the store. Go to different areas of the store. Can you tell me where the milk is? Oh yeah, sure. It's at the back and over to the left. Okay, thank you. Then head in that direction, but then go somewhere else in the store, ask someone else, because they're going to answer the same question slightly different, maybe a different accent, different words, different description. And so you're going to be hearing different ways to answer the same information. Same if you're in the mall, if you're in a clothing store, you know, talk to 2 or 3 different clerks. If there's a small store, then go to 3 or 4 different stores, but ask the same questions. And then just tell them, oh, by the way, I'm new here, I've been here 1 month, I've been here 6 months, I've been here a year. If they want to and are interested in talking, they'll ask you some questions. If not, that's fine. Go and find someone else. But doing that regularly, it's a little bit awkward at first, but 2 or 3 times a week, getting in 15, 20 minutes of practice, you'll find within a month or two that your thoughts and ideas are much clearer and easier when you're answering these questions. Last thing is just formal versus informal. So again, prepare in advance and think, okay, where am I? If you're with your friends, if you're in a mall, more casual, interactive. Hey, how's it going? What's up? What's happening today? If you're talking to coworkers, talking to your manager, it's a little bit more formal, slightly different vocabulary, a little bit more polite. Could you please help me with this? Or I'm struggling with this. Do you have any advice? Those types of phrases. So good luck in your speaking. The links of some of the information I've talked about are in the comments below. And if you have other questions, feel free to drop them in the comments.